Mark Kerr lives out in Arizona too. Did you ever keep in contact with him?
No, Mark Kerr's a fucking goof. He's a fucking goof. Jeez. Anybody who knows him knows he's a goof.
What do you think about The Rock apparently playing him in a role about his life, I guess?
Rock's a dumbass to do that. He should pick somebody better to represent. Kerr ain't the one. Drink the water. Kerr's a fucking goof.
In what way?
Every way. Shit. He's a fucking idiot. You know, I'd sit there and say he was scared the whole time and he never wanted to fight. He did a good job for a scared coward, you know. Shit. Of course, he's juiced out of his fucking brain, you know. Then, Brad Reagan's is the one who broke me into pro wrestling. And Brad's like a second cousin or something like that to, what's his name? Who's the pro wrestler who won the UFC championship?
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, yeah. Brad's a cousin or second cousin to Brock Lesnar. And so Brock was supposed to come out, you know, to talk to me about training him when he first started getting in. And he flew into Phoenix and to go see a strength and conditioning coach he met when he tried out for the Vikings. And so he was up there and he came down with Kerr, you know. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking, but so Steve Owen, who's my judo sensei and trainer and cornerman, you know, and we were working with Brock. Fucking Kerr coming off the wall, try this, do this, do this. Everything he showed was a complete idiot move, you know. Stupid. He should have stayed out of the way. And Kerr, I don't know why Kerr got involved with that moron, but then he left, you know, and never came back, which is fine with me.
How did you get involved in training with Brock?
Well, because Brad Reagan's.
Oh, he brought you into the camp?
Yeah, well, it wasn't even a camp yet. Brock was just when he was first thinking about getting into the fight game.
Okay. So they paid you to come in, I guess?
No, it didn't pay us. He just, Brad asked me as a favor, you know?
Okay.
And, you know, Brad's a good friend of mine. He's a friend. He's one of these, you know, figures. God bless him. You know, he's a good street shooter.
Did you realize that Brock had the potential right there?
Oh, he had the potential, but he didn't have, you know, he didn't have a chance if he's going to have Kerr in his corner, you know, or in his camp.
Right.
And I think maybe he might have eventually figured that one out. Eventually he got rid of Kerr.
Yeah, that's true.
But he wasted everybody's time by having that moron come down here with him.
Okay. What about Mark Coleman? What are your thoughts on him?
I like Coleman. Coleman's a good guy, you know. He can be pissed at me because he's buddies with Kerr. He can be pissed at me for saying what I did, but that's God's honest truth. You know, I'm not here to fucking lie and jack anybody off, you know. Kerr's a goof. Coleman's real. Coleman's a real fighter.
With AEW, Punk just signed there.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Because then the rumor now is they might be getting Daniel Bryan too. So it's like, wow, they're really loading up on top level talent.
Absolutely. And I'm very happy for them. And again, so everything with Punk, again, this is all in the past, right? I've discredited everything. There were lies. And we'll talk about that briefly again to remind people. He was in a very bad place mentally and physically, and he was very hurt working me from the beginning. He was hurt working a lot of people and complained about a lot of people with that. It is what it is. I'm happy he had that moment because as much as we're different in a lot of ways, we do have similar things I think we agree on about the business. And I've always commended him for the choices he to go out and try to do what he tried to do, just as far as from a mentality standpoint and having the courage to go try to do something different. that maybe a lot of people wouldn't have with that. And being out with my injuries and everything going on and working hard to get back, it made me happy because he was gone even longer with that, right? With no wrestling. It made me happy to see he had that moment because I could relate to it.
Seems like you guys do have a lot in common because Punk got that same Triple H speech, like nobody's going to be a bigger star after Cena. Like we're not going to, and he was beating Cena in a lot of the metrics. So it's like, wow, I guess, they really have their mindset that they're not going to push their guys. You got, Feed Me More was over big and it didn't seem like they were ready to go that extra mile. IC title maybe, but then they wouldn't go the extra mile and put the rocket ship to you, and strap it to you and have it sent to the moon. It just didn't seem
I'll
like
say too, Punk had no problem though. Punk had no problem going over me when I had all the momentum. Right. So how much is he in it for himself or for the business? And that's what I see. I think that's my mindset. If somebody's hotter than me, run with them. It's up to me to figure out how to get hotter. And but again, he'd already been through that. So he's at an FU point to the company. Well, I'm going to just take everything I can get now. And that's just the way. And I'm not putting that creative or anything on him with that. But that was right at the end of the time. I was the number 2 merch seller going in right behind John with all of that for a period of like 7-8 months with all of that, and then I think I had 7 pay-per-view losses while I was in the top spot with that. That's pretty unheard of. And it got more popular until we took it all away with that. But it goes both ways on that. But I think that he maybe his mindset was at the time he'd already been through the ringer with all of that, right?
Right.
And having like his momentum was already stifled. So why is he then gonna, do something for the company? That's the nature of the business. That's the upper echelon of talent, like that main event level. That's the the unfortunate part of the business. And where I was at the time, creatively, it would have made sense for me to probably go in there and go, no, Vince, this is bullshit. What are we going to, we're going to throw this all away. Don't do this. But realistically, I never should have been put in that position to begin with if we weren't ready to run with it. But Cena went out with the arm injury and suggested they put me in the main event. So which was fine. I was more than capable of being in the main event and always was. And I prefer to be there. But it was like I would have preferred to continue to build my momentum until the timing was right. But it is what it is.
Buff, I will be calling him when I'm done talking to you and see where his head's at. So, Buff lives, 10 miles from me. He could be over here, and I got to find out, where he's at. And, I will be looking into that. But someone's got to really want it. They got to want to change. And not that Scott Hall ever wanted to quit drinking, but he sure as hell didn't want to be in the spot that he's, where he was, and Scotty's in such a better spot than he ever was, even though he's fallen down a couple times. He gets back up and he gets on the path that's going to keep him alive and feeling better. Buff, I've talked to numerous times. And like Buff's always close to me and he's right here. But, again, I've seen Buff go completely sober and super clean for months at a time. But, I just saw, he just sent me pictures of the accident that he was in. And he literally asked me to call him today. And I'm good. I called him yesterday. I'm not really like the rehab guy for booze or pills or that stuff. I'm not that guy. I'm not a rehab guy.
There's a lot of fans asking about that incident where Puder put the key lock on you, which was, I guess, a bit of a surprise since it was an amateur wrestling contest. What are your thoughts on that? And are you disappointed that WWE never actually gave you a match against him because there was some heat there with the fans?
Well, it was a wrestling match and, he caught me in a submission and it really wasn't supposed to be submission. I told him that afterward. I said, you're a dumbass because you pinned yourself. And, but I like Dan. I actually got along with him really well. And we were supposed to have a program right before WrestleMania, but he... there were rumors of his attitude and, he was pissing off some of the boys. He told somebody he was in the main event at Royal Rumble And, they were like, what are you talking about? You're in the main event. He said, well, I'm in the Rumble. And they said, that's not the main event. And so he just came across as arrogant. And I think a lot of guys took their frustrations out on him at the Rumble. If you watch the match during the Royal Rumble, they were chopping the crap out of him, chest chopping, just brutalizing him. And, the poor kid didn't even know how to wrestle yet. And, he was put in a situation where he was uncomfortable. And I totally get why, he was upset. And, the company felt that he wasn't picking up on the technique as quickly as they wanted him to. So they decided to let him go. And I think he lasted for a good 6 or 8 months. But his contract was coming up again, and they didn't want to renew the contract for $250,000 guarantee. They wanted to drop it to $75,000, and he said no. So I think they wanted to continue to train him for another year, and I think Daniel just decided not to because the money dropped dramatically.
I had another situation with another person accusing me of something. Where's your evidence? There's your evidence. And thank God now. And I said it in my interview with my great friend Hugo Sabinovich. Hey, we had a confidential agreement in the past for $1 million. That's the only reason why I never said anything. Never said anything. I never exposed you. I never told the truth about all your arrests of for domestic violence when we were together. But please don't mess with me again. Enough is enough. I have no intentions on. And you and everybody knows who am I talking about. No more. Enough is enough. That confidential agreement is no longer there. You breached the contract. So now I can tell the truth about who was the one arrested 3 different times for domestic violence, and it wasn't me. 7 police reports for domestic violence, and it wasn't me. So they talked, they barked, they were poking me to make me talk. And I think they wanted to make me talk to come and collect that $1 million, because when I signed that confidential agreement, hey, I was WWE champion. I did good, money-wise.
Yeah.
And then the other person, after signing the contract, I realized that she didn't own a house, a car, or anything, and only had $60,000-$70,000 in her bank account. But the contract was signed already when I found out. I have no intention in affecting anyone. Please leave me alone. Enough is enough. And you, all of that people, you should be thankful, because it's because of me why she still have a job. Because if I would have exposed her in the past, I'm not just talking barking crap. I have documents of what I'm saying. I have evidence. And if not, hey, come and sue me. But if you try to do something, I will put those 3 arrests for domestic violence out there, and I will tell the truth of what happened, what really happened, not the bullshit stories that we told the media to protect her from losing her job, because we did it because we were engaged. We were a couple, and we did it together. We threw a bullshit story to the media, to the fans, but that's not the real story. And I have no intentions on entertaining the internet and the haters, and I don't want to affect anyone's life. But please stop messing with me.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out by clicking the subscribe, like, and get notifications buttons on this video so you don't miss any of my upcoming news clips, shoot interviews, or match footage. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the Hannibal TV if you want to follow us on those platforms for instant updates.